This video shows how to create better presentations with animation and transitions when you're using PowerPoint. So this is a presentation that doesn't have any transitions or animations at this point, so it's a perfect example. So I'm going to start with transitions. Transitions are what you want your slides to do when you go to the next slide. So as you're presenting, you talk about the slide that you're on, you're ready to move to the next one. How does that new slide come in? So you can do things like push, which is going to do that, and it just pushes the slide up off the page and the new one comes in. You can do things like uncover, similar, but it just goes to the side. And there's also other ones. So you can click on the little down arrow and you're going to see there are other types of transitions. So we could try Honeycomb, and that's going to go like this, which is a little bit longer. That one's actually 4.4 seconds. If you look over here next to duration, each one of these types of transitions you select will have a duration next to it. You can also modify this, so you're in control. You could make this faster, or you could make it take even longer, although that would be pretty long. But some of these are much quicker. So cube is only 1.2 seconds. It's a very quick transition. So I would say most oftenly you want to pick something that kind of represents who you're presenting to. Are you presenting to a group of business individuals and it needs to be succinct and to the point? You've got, say, 15 minutes to get their attention. Then you're not going to want a 5-second transition. You're not going to want something that's super busy and distracts from what your concept is, what you're trying to get across, what you want people to leave with. So these transitions, it's important to pick something that is related to what you do and or fits the topic you're speaking about. Not each of these, here's another one, is going to do that, but some of them will. So pick something that makes sense for what you're doing. Once you've picked something, and if you've changed the duration if you want to, or you've added a sound, which I usually don't do just because it can get a little bit busy, but it's up to you. It's totally your call. You want to select apply to all. And then that'll apply that to every single slide, and now every slide will have that same transition. It's important to have the same transition for all your slides, only in the sense that it gives it some flow and some meter, basically. It's kind of like having a website where when you click on a certain link inside the website, you're on a sub page, and now all of a sudden the color scheme's different. You wonder if you've left the website because you're not quite sure. You want your presentation, obviously somebody's going to know it's still your presentation, but if you have some similarities in it to where it has a pattern, then people are sort of following along and they get more sucked in. Next, you can choose to advance on mouse click, or you can say after a certain amount of time. Usually I always just say on click, which is, usually it's a space bar or the enter key or a mouse click if you have one attached, because then I control when the slide transitions. If somebody asks a question or if a story takes a little longer to tell and the slide transitions ahead of you, then you sort of get behind, and that can be a little bit more stressful. That's also totally your call, and you have that option, but I would practice that if you use the after a certain amount of time. Next is animation. So now in animation, I'm going to switch slides because it'll make more sense. An animation is going to allow me to control what information shows up when. So I can select this information here and say add animation, and I'll do, let's do wheel for fun. And that's how that would enter the page. Then I'm going to select all these at once, and then I'll explain kind of what that looks like. Each one of these, as I add, you see has a number, and basically that's the order that these would pop into the page. And then I could also do this one. And so the idea is that when I went to this page, the page would open up with this creating business pages at the top, the click drop down arrow select create page, and then I would have to hit the space bar or the enter key to get the click the type of page to create, and again to choose the category, enter the business name, and click get started. Each one of those are a separate and individual click. I could make those all the same if I wanted to. 2, 3, and 4 could just be 2, and they all came in at the same time. Again, the granularity is up to you and how you want to use that. The idea is that you can control which pieces of the information you want to provide show up when. And the nice part about that is sometimes you're building up to a point and you don't want people reading while you're talking. And that's one of the bad things about PowerPoint. When you put too much information in a slide, people immediately, when you change slides, start reading. They're not listening. So if you bring up a page that just has one little phrase like click drop down arrow and select page, this right here, there's not much to read. So they go back to looking at you. And then what you can do is you can, as you talk about these things, have these parts enter the page one at a time. And the nice thing about that is you're controlling the information, you're controlling when your audience hears it, and you're controlling the way that it's displayed to them. So it helps you sort of take better control of your presentation. So not only is it the effect nice for your presentation, but it also helps you control the information and how it comes in. So those are the two things that help create better PowerPoint presentations: transitions for your slides, which have all different kinds and have different categories of transitions, and also animations where you can select different pieces, including images and graphs and other things. All those things can be used as an animation piece. Also with the animations, you can have them start on click, or you can do other things. So you can have them where they start with the previous one, so one enters, then the next, and the next automatically. We could have done that with the 2, 3, 4, so that 1 came in, and when it got done, 3 came in. Then when 2 got done, 3 would come in, and when 3 got done, 4 came in. Those are all little finite pieces that you can control, and they take some time to play with. But you can also change the time, the duration, and you can also change the delay. So you can get very specific about how these animations enter and exit, and those knowing that you have all that control can really change a presentation.